Welcome back to live action at Wayland Gymnasium here at Fort Lewis College. Bob Bonner with you at the Skyhawks Invitational. Broadcasting live streaming all weekend on YouTube. Our platform we're trying out here, the RMAC platform, has done nothing but throw us technical difficulties, so the folks at the athletic department here shifted us over to the YouTube platform, and things appear to be going pretty well. If you're tuning in from out of town, welcome. If your team's here, I hope they've enjoyed their weekend, win or lose. I think it's been a great event. I do know, talking to some of the parents, that some of them have taken advantage of the fact that they've been in one of the most beautiful places in the world. We've had some folks out riding the train, walking the river, enjoying the Southern Rocky Mountains and everything they have to offer. Just an absolutely beautiful time of year here. And always beautiful at Fort Lewis College, our little campus in the sky overlooking Durango, nestled in the shadow of the La Plata Mountains. And beautiful place to go to college, beautiful place to compete in college athletics. And I know they call soccer the beautiful game, but we've had some beautiful volleyball here this weekend. Some really good teams, and maybe the best of them we're seeing on the court right now. Angelo State, no doubt, will be ranked unless the wheels come off for the Bells here today. They appear poised. Of course, this is why we play them out. The Bells still have to get through this East Central team here, and then they've got to play Southwestern Oklahoma State later tonight. But this is a Bells team sitting 7-0 right now. They received votes in last week's coaches poll, and like I said, they've been very impressive. A pair of 4-set victories over RMAC teams yesterday, CSU Pueblo and Fort Lewis. That 4-set Fort Lewis match was really, really competitive. Angelo State will start service. Laney Dale, the senior setter out of Alabama Birmingham. You'll hear me talk about today the Division I transfers on this team and how good they are, and Dale is one of them, the setter from UAB. That's the only senior on the East Central team. Jada Abercrombie had trouble handling that serve from Dale. A lot of seniors on this Angelo State roster. You're going to see all of them on the floor. Strickland with a big smash for East Central. East Central, one of the teams that hasn't won yet in this tournament. East Central, Southwest Oklahoma State. Boy, Torres played a ball that was going to be out there. East Central keeps the rally rolling. Dale's in the center. Sanchez just able to tip that. Sanchez on the block there. Here comes Strickland with another attack. She just tips it over. Dale steps up and leaves it for their nastiest weapon, Hannah Kinnison. And she takes that off a block and out of bounds. The Bells quickly out to a 3-0 lead. I talked about this is a 7-0 team, and they hadn't even dropped a set until CSU Pueblo got them 28-26 in the third set of their first match yesterday. And then Fort Lewis really did push them. There's a Emma Strickland attack that goes off the block and out of bounds to the benefit of the Tigers. So the first side out of the game for East Central. Trailing 3-1, and Emma Strickland, who scored on that attack, will start serving. Boy, catches the tape and does not get the friendly roll. Service errors, going to give it right back to Angelo State. And you don't want to make mistakes against Angelo State. They will make you pay for them. I talk a lot about the D1 transfers on this Bells roster. This freshman, Maddie Parrish, has made a lot of noise. No transfer there, and you see a nice serve. This East Central team just having trouble finding their stride this weekend. Same can be said for Southwestern Oklahoma State University, although they got a lot better last night. They lost their last game last night, a 5-setter to CSU Pueblo. East Central rallied to steal a set from Fort Lewis last night. It was on plays like that. Angel Nahinu did not play much until late in that Fort Lewis match, and she's part of the reason why they pushed the Skyhawks to a 4th set last night. Fort Lewis at 2-1, a big win over Texas A&M International. The Dust Devils, Texas A&M International, just finished their tournament with a 3-1 record with a 3-set victory over CSU Pueblo in our first game of the day today. Torres with a tip cross court. A sprawling dig by McCamus. Another attack by Kinnison. She hits at almost a 500 clip. Strickland on the receiving end, able to make a play on it, but it gets into the rafters, comes down on the Bells side of the net, which means it's out. Had that come down on the Tigers side of the net, they would have been free to play it. Sanchez will serve. Angelo State up 6-2 in this first set. East Central trying to regain some of the momentum they were able to find late last night. I mean, I'm talking 10 o'clock last night when they pushed that match against Fort Lewis to a 4th set. Team got out to a slow start and got better as the day went on. Hoping for that right now. That's a gutsy play by McCamus going into the scorer at the scoring table to try to keep that point alive, but to no avail. Ball gets away from her and into the stands, and Angelo State's lead is now 7-2 as Sanchez gets ready to step into this one. Actually, the scoreboard still got him at 6-2. Capri, I don't know if we're ahead or if they're behind. I think we're right, too. Torres missed on that one. Oh, but they're saying a tip at the net. So that should take it to 8-2. And, yeah, I do believe the scoreboard's behind here. We got a timeout on the floor for East Central, and hopefully those folks downstairs will get caught up. We've only got one scoreboard on today. I just noticed that the smaller scoreboard over the entrance isn't even turned on this morning for some reason. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Skyhawks Invitational at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. I'm Bob Bonner, bringing you the games live streamed on YouTube all weekend on the Skyhawks Sports Network. My producer is Capri Abadesa, one of the Skyhawks lacrosse players. Out of season, so we put her to work. Makes you want to go play lacrosse, doesn't it? Oh, that's okay. Yeah, and see, that's why she's the best producer in the business, folks. Capri picked up that, yeah, the player, McCamus, chased that errant pass into the scorer's table and actually ran into the scoreboard operator or hit the table right in front of her. And apparently that knocked the scoreboard out. It's back on now. I should put a headset on you, Capri. I'd have sat here mumbling about what's wrong with the scoreboard for 15 minutes. Not Caprietta. She was on top of it. Strickland struggling a little bit with some of her serve receive here early in the match, but Tigers able to give it across. And then Evelyn Torres, we've not really seen her get going yet, but is she something else? Transfer from UT Tyler, a 5'9 senior out of Fort Worth, Texas, number 5. Evelyn Torres, one of the heaviest-handed hitters we've seen here this weekend. Angelo State with an 8-3 lead. That's Sarah Heine, I believe, into the game. Serving for East Central, and I hope I'm saying her last name right. Kinnison with the smash there off the block and out of bounds. Kinnison came in, I think I said it, she came in hitting at a .485 efficiency clip, which is just so absurd it's almost obscene, and I don't think she's hurt that over the course of the weekend. She is accurate and smart and just really executes when a setter gives her a ball to deal with. It's Kabbalah, the setter for East Central. Torres winds and fires again. McCamus does a nice job of keeping the play alive. Gonzalez with a tip. Boy, a nice job by the freshman Kirkpatrick to redirect that set back to her teammate, Kate Boldrick. And Boldrick, the 6-foot sophomore out of Austin, Texas, knew exactly what to do with it. Boldrick seemed to gain steam yesterday. She didn't have to do much or didn't do much against CSU Pueblo. She was really quiet in that game against the Thunderwolves, but she played a big, big role in the 4-set victory over the Skyhawks, I thought. Again, the freshman Kirkpatrick, she's an impressive setter. There was no doubt in her mind what her job was there to go up and dig that out of the net. She didn't get it done. The ball just didn't kick free enough for her to do it. But she was up there in position to try to keep the play alive for her team. East Central with the side out, though. within 6 points, going to try and make something happen here. Sydney Roshek, defensive specialist in, and there's a tip scored by Elsa Lamphere, the 5'11 senior out of Aurora, Colorado. 5 players on this team average over 2 kills per set. Cresia Perez, a 5'6 freshman out of Laredo, Texas, the home of Texas A&M International. She got away from them to go over to Angelo State in San Angelo. This is the first time we see Cresia. And as sometimes happens, her first bit of action, not a good result for her, as she's going to be hung with the service error after putting that one into the net. Nice dig by Parrish. They're going to send it right back to Maddie. Swings and drills that one too hot for Roshek to handle off of her right side. The lead is 7 for Angelo State, and the Bells just keep taking care of business here. Kaylee Enack, she's been quiet in this match, but Fort Lewis kept her busy, and she just rose to the challenge every time. There's a big block from Sanchez and Parrish up front. Parrish, another one of those players, not huge, 5'9", but the athleticism, leaping ability, timing. That's an errant serve from Enax. She's some kind of, we've seen several just really, really talented, athletic outside hitters. Not the 6-footers, but the 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", even 5'9", as is the case with Parrish, the freshman out of Saginaw. She receives there. Kirkpatrick sets it back to Lamphere, and Elsa too strong with that one. This Lamphere-Kirkpatrick pairing is balanced out by Dale and Kinnison, the seniors. They'll come back on Dale, the setter, Kinnison, the middle. There's a tip from Sanchez, and East Central continues to struggle to get some rhythm, make things happen here. And now you see that rotation I talked about, Lamphere and Kirkpatrick off the floor, Dale on to set and serve, and up front, Hannah Kinnison, who is probably the best middle at this tournament. The best true pure middle, I guess. They list her as an outside hitter, I guess, but man, she just, and yeah, that's the way she plays it, but she's got that build, and she throws up a block that is pretty silly. Here's Kinnison on the attack, and a rare miss for her. And boy, I've got the touch today. Every time I start talking somebody up, they end up with an error. Hannah Kinnison doesn't make many. The big outside hitter. It's Sanchez is actually the middle in there right now. And Sanchez says, don't forget about me. McCamus able to keep it in play, but no teammates there to keep it alive after she does. Torres is back in, and we see Perez quickly off. And Torres is, yeah, she has been consistent and reliable for them. So just a short breather there to kind of hit reset for Evelyn Torres. Let's see if they set her up. No, they're going to keep feeding Sanchez, and Marina Sanchez continues to have the hot hand. A couple of kills for her. She's on the leaderboard for this Angelo State team. The Bells lead at 16-9 over the Tigers of East Central out of Ada, Oklahoma. That one's off a block, side out to the East Central Tigers. Ashley Miller checks back in, the 5'10 junior. Again, Sanchez in the middle. And Angelo State continues to attack there. They try to set it up for Sanchez again, but Dale carried into the net by that pass. I don't know if Coach Waddington saw something here with the East Central team or if it's something he wants to work on with his team, but They are certainly set in the middle until they don't. There, Kinnison with a big smash. Nice job by McCamus to dig it out. And East Central never really did get set. Saran Aaron, with the miss hit there. Angelo State leads it by 6. That's Sanchez serving now. Odalis Gonzalez with a big smash there. Torres, apparently that rest did her some good. That was a big hit. All East Central could do to get it back across. And then in the middle, Kate Boldrick. Ugh. Boldrick and Sanchez, the middles for this team. Again, we've seen them become more active and involved after it was all about the outside hitters. Kinnison and Lamphere at times. So many weapons on this Angelo State team. So many ways they can attack you. And Waddington's got trust in any of those attackers, and these setters do as well. Boy, there's a big block from Kinnison and Goldrick. Little scramble. Dale can't keep that one alive. East Central stays within 6. Sarahina, or Sarahina, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Checks back in for Aaron, and she'll serve. Received by Torres. The back set to Kinnison, and oh, what a mighty mashup that was. Strickland had no chance whatsoever. No blockers up to challenge Kinnison there, and she was able to take a full swing as she and Dale rotate off. Angelo State up 7 now at 19-12. Had a 3-setter to start the day, and this was the one, the team that's winless in the tournament, East Central, against a team that's undefeated in the tournament, Angelo State. This one had the potential to be one of our more lopsided games, but you see East Central not going to go quietly there. Kabbalah with a nice tip. Gonzalez will come out, and Roshek will come in to play back row. She was the libero to start the tournament for them, Sydney Roshek, a 5'8" freshman. Nice job by Boldrick to get that one across, and then the block from Torres. Oh, the Bells are just dominant at the net right now. Torres will rotate out. Perez will come in to serve, but oh boy. It doesn't matter which rotation is on the floor. Angelo State is all over East Central right now. Kabbalah, the back set, Miller. Nice dig by Enax. Another big block. That time it's Lamphere and Boldrick. They tip it over the block this time. Kirkpatrick tries the sprawling dig and can't get to it. East Central keeps it within 6, but Angelo State put on the early run, established the lead, and has been pretty content to trade side outs since then. They haven't had to expend a lot of energy to maintain the 4-point lead. Miller comes off. Mia Little, 5'5" freshman from Aledo, Texas, is on. Kirkpatrick sets it back to Lamphere. There's a big block. Strickland there, flanked by Nahinu. Kirkpatrick sets it up to Parrish. Oh, boy, that's a blast. Nice job by Roshek to dig it out. Kabbalah's just got to get it back in play, and then Strickland bumps over a free ball, but she left it short enough that the front row had to play it, and that created a little confusion on the part of Angelo State. Results in another point for East Central. They're making one last charge here. And just like that, the Tigers are within 3 at 20-17. Waddington encourages his team, but the 16-year veteran coach not calling a timeout yet. Kirkpatrick to the middle. Boldrick, a little tip. East Central actually played that pretty easily. And now one of the Bells in the net. It's Parrish, number 6, and Waddington does want a timeout. This is a really, really big push by East Central. Spurred in part by Nahinu in the middle. She's got 4 kills now. Boldrick, Kinnison, both with 4 kills for Angelo State. Overall, the Bells with the advantage on the attack. 13-10 edge in kills. The Bells, however, with 5 attacking errors to only 3 for East Central. Each team has attacked a total of 31 times. The hitting percentage for Angelo State at .258, but an impressive .226 for ECU. That's a better clip than in any of their games yesterday. 13 assists for the Bells right now to 9 for the Tigers. Angelo State with 3 aces, but they've also got 3 service errors. Only 1 error at the service stripe for the Tigers. No aces for East Central. Team's pretty even in blocks at this point. Just the 1 solo block, actually, for East Central. No assist. 4 assists for Angelo State. Tigers also have 3 receiving errors on the serve, and none for Angelo State. And a quick side out after the timeout there. The Bells, if you're a San Angelo fan or Angelo State fan, you're hoping that means the Bells stop the bleeding. Strickland with a big attack from the far pin, and she just never did get on top of that. It was a pretty good set. Sailed all the way across court and out of bounds. Angelo State didn't even really think about making a play on it. Kaylee Enax, the junior libero, boy, she's been steady. She is. Sets it up to Kirkpatrick, to Sanchez. Sanchez off the block and out of bounds. It appears that Angelo State did survive the East Central run, and a good timeout by Waddington. His team quickly regained momentum. Enax doing the serving. Strickland with a smash right there that eats Kirkpatrick up. Kabbalah now with her team down 4. Going to try and keep a minute. The 5'7" junior setter out of Warsaw, Poland. Lamphere. Boy, that was kind of came off her hand funny. And Roshak unable to play it. Yeah, it was just, I don't know if it came off her hand funny or if someone got a piece of it at the net and that affected the way Roshak played it, but clearly Sydney was uncomfortable. Dale now serving a set point. Roshak does a nice job of playing that up to a teammate. Enax has to dig that one out. Dale keeps it alive. Kinnison tries to put it back in play and slides under the scorer's table, unsuccessful at saving the play. Angelo State with another set point here. But Strickland now will serve it from the Tigers' side of the net. Emma Strickland, the 5'10" junior outside hitter from Mansfield, Texas. Enax, back row to Dale. Kinnison up high and denied. A big, big block there from Saran Aaron. Flanked by Nahinu. Strickland. Dale. Sanchez with the tip. Nice scramble play there by Kabbalah. Here comes the attack from Aaron. And another point. Saran Aaron fired up, trying to keep East Central in it. They've fought off 3 set points. And now Emma Strickland back to serve again. You can hear the Tiger fans trying to pick their team up. Ticks the tape. Parrish concentrates. Strickland keeps it in play. Kabbalah, the set for Gonzalez off the double block and scores it. This is the Tiger team that forced a 4 set against the Skyhawks last night, and Chuck Waddington needs to talk it over a little bit. Great energy from East Central here at the end of this first set. Good night's sleep in the hotel. Apparently did them some good. I don't know how good a night's sleep it was, though. These girls played till almost 11 o'clock last night. And having to return here and play in the 11 o'clock game this morning. But I know it was tough for me to wake up and get here for the 9 o'clock game. You didn't look any bright-eyed and bushy-tailed either, Capri. We had a long day of volleyball. We still haven't seen my sidekick, Rico, block yet. I hope he's doing all right. I didn't expect him to be here till the Fort Lewis game, which is coming up right after this one. But that was a long day of volleyball. Made a lot of new volleyball fans, though, because I think it was exciting volleyball, and it was fun to watch the athletes play. I think the people who were here enjoyed the experience. I expect to see more of them here today. But it's going to take them a while to trickle in. Got a good one here. East Central thinking upset, looking to come back and steal the first set against Angelo State. That's a big block on Sanchez. Kinnison plays it back, and Parrish launches one into the nether regions. East Central has come all the way back, tied it at 24. They fought off 5 set points, I believe. Now with a little breathing room, Strickland going to see if she can give her team the advantage late in this first set. The Bells having trouble closing them out. Kinnison is denied, and she goes into the net. She was blocked fair and square by Aaron. And now the officials want to talk this over. I thought Kinnison did. Her momentum carried her into the net after that smash. If the worst that can happen for East Central here is that they call a do-over. But as it stands right now, unless the call's reversed, East Central holding a 25-24 lead, and Angelo State will be facing a set point. Oh! Well, wait a second. The umpire overruled. He apparently is saying they stopped the play, though. So I thought the floor umpire, the floor official, said that Kinnison was in the net and stopped the play. The chair official gave it back. A little confused, but no argument from Essex. So apparently I'm the only one who doesn't know what's going on. The point actually went to Angelo State, which made that a set point. And Parrish finishes it off. Boy, that was a spirited comeback from the Tigers there. They fought off 5 set points. It actually looked like they had taken an advantage. We got a call reversal, and Angelo State quickly put the first set away after that fortunate reversal for them. But, East Central showed up to play this morning. Angelo State survives a scare in the first set. We'll be back with set number 2 in just a couple of minutes. Set to return to action here at Wayland Gymnasium. Bob Bonner bringing you the Skyhawks Invitational, live streamed on YouTube on the Skyhawks Sports Network. Skyhawks Invitational coming your way from Fort Lewis College here in Durango, Colorado. If you're tuning in, hoping to catch the Fort Lewis game, we'll be getting that one underway immediately following this one. Fort Lewis will play their final game of the Skyhawk Invitational. Skyhawks with a 2-1 record right now, wins over Texas A&M International and this East Central team from Oklahoma. Their loss coming to this Angelo State team. Angelo State, the team that is not been defeated yet in this tournament. They're undefeated in the tournament. Undefeated on the year, actually. It's 7-0. Kabbalah will serve to start the second set. East Central absolutely pushed Angelo State in the first set before losing 26-24. Saw East Central show some life last night against Fort Lewis. They stole the third set and forced a fourth. Ended up being in here playing volleyball till 11 o'clock last night. East Central apparently none the worse for wear. They put up a stiff challenge for this Angelo State team in set number one. Here they come. Firing in set number two, Strickland with the side out to tie it up. Emma Strickland she's been the go-to for this team. Plays front and back row. Seldom comes off the floor. Strickland, a 5'10 junior from Mansfield, Texas. Enax unable to keep that alive. East Central with a lead, apparently still riding a little momentum. They made a feverish comeback in the first set, down 24-19, 24-20. I know they fought off 4 or 5 set points and actually looked like they took a 25. Boy, an ace from Strickland. Enax has been so good this weekend. Struggles here with Strickland at the service stripe on the other end for East Central, but yeah, East Central came back late in that one. They actually looked to take a 25-24 lead, but there was a call overrule by the official on the stand on the near side of the court that made it 25-24 Angelo State, and Parrish quickly served the final point before anybody really sort of even realized what happened, I think. Angelo State went ahead and put it away 26-24. East Central with an early lead in this one, and the service error from Marina Sanchez. He's going to give a side out. Roshek, the freshman, has donned the libero jersey again. Macy McCamus had played libero the last couple of games for East Central. Roshek was libero in their first game of the tournament. There's a big hit from Aaron. And Torres with the miss hit down the line. 5-2 lead. For East Central. East Central has scored, I think, outscored this Angelo State team like 10-4 over the last few minutes, going back 2 sets. Wow. Hannah Spencer, the 6'1 freshman middle from San Antonio, Texas, out of Cornerstone Christian. That's the first we've seen of her this weekend. She announced her presence with authority. The big freshman with a blistering smash there to force the side out. Another freshman, Kirkpatrick, back to set right now. Aaron continues to be fired up and provide a lot of energy and a lot of power to that East Central lineup. Sure enough, as soon as I say that, she rotates out. If you were with us in the last game, you heard me and Coach Tarnaskaita from Fort Lewis talking about Fort Lewis runs the 5-1 offense. These two teams both run a 6-2 where they change their setter and outside hitter on each rotation, and that's good as far as keeping your personnel in a place to do the most damage, but it can also kill your momentum. That's not the case there. Aaron comes off for East Central, and Sarah Heine comes on and serves the very next point to keep the momentum going for the Tigers. They lead it now 7-3 after making a late charge to get back in the first set. Wait, no. Now this time the top official is saying, I don't think that ever got across the net. Essex is saying, I don't want to use a challenge for this, but they just called that a side out, and I don't think the hit from Spencer even got above the tape. And I don't think there was anybody from the Tigers side in the net. Maybe my eyesight's just that bad, but I think Danielle Essex saw the same thing I did. I'm surprised she's not using a challenge. There's been a couple of calls here. That one late, I think she should have challenged the 24-24 call that got overruled, and then that one, apparently I saw it wrong. I sure thought that went into the net. The score continues to show 8-3. It should be 8-4, I think. Big hit from Miller, but Enak's there to dig it out. Nice dig by Roshek. They'll set up Gonzalez, who blast one past Jaden Woolley. Some personnel changes. We haven't seen much of Woolley, the 5'6 junior defensive specialist, number 2, or Spencer, the 6'1 freshman, but both on the floor right now for Coach Chuck Waddington and the Angelo State Bells. Lamphere with a big hit. Nice dig by Gonzalez. Miller throws up a shot that's denied at the net. Now Strickland going to wind, go cross court, and drop it in front of Enax. Inspired play continues from East Central. And Chuck Waddington wants a timeout, clearly unhappy with the way his team's performing. Now, I don't know if he was unhappy with the lineup he had on the floor in the last game, that forced him to make these changes. As we talked to Coach G during the last contest, we talked about how these preseason tournaments, coaches are still setting that lineup and defining roles for their players at this time of year. And part of that process is taking a role away from a player temporarily for part of a game or part of a weekend and giving it to someone else to see what they do with it. I think Waddington doing some of that here. You've got the luxury of a 7-0 non-conference record, and you've got a set in your pocket. You can do that. But at the same time, this East Central team made a push against his starters at the end of the first set. I think he might have made the changes to try and spark his team, and that hasn't happened. The new body's not delivering any different result than what we saw at the end of the last set. By my count, East Central has outscored Angelo State 13-5 or 6 over the course of the end of the first set and the beginning of the second set. All the momentum right now shifted to the Tigers' end of the floor. Waddington calls a timeout. His timeouts have been so effective all weekend. The 16-year veteran obviously knows what he's doing. And his team has responded to, I think, every timeout he's called. We'll see what the response is here. Little discussion about the score right now, I believe. You heard Rick O'Block, my normal sidekick, who will be joining me for the next game, talk about how frustrating some of these delays were for him yesterday. And in such a momentum sport, volleyball, G even talked about how important momentum is. I said yesterday, I think volleyball and hockey are the two sports where momentum might play the biggest role. Lacrosse is another one where, man, it seems like, when things are going right for your team, you're twice as good, right, Capri, individually? And I think we see that in sports like volleyball and lacrosse. So those delays right there give opponents time to catch their breath and get back into it. The timeout from Waddington and then the delay there, though, does have that impact. And a side out, Enax is going to serve for Angelo State, down only 4 now. Enax has not been as visible or consistent as we've seen her over the course of the weekend. There's a big smash from Miller into the block of Sanchez and Parrish that goes out of bounds. So another side out to the Tigers, and East Central continues to nurse this advantage and walk those points up. Ashley Miller to serve now. Sends that one deep. Woolley had a little trouble with it on the back row. Lamphere able to tip it across. Gonzalez sends over a free ball. Kirkpatrick the quick set, and Sanchez makes quick work of it. Takes it into Odalise Gonzalez and handcuffs her. Miller comes off. And now it's East Central who's content to trade side outs. As long as they keep walking that 4 or 5 point lead up closer to 25, they're going to have to get a side out of their own right here. Good dig by Sarah Heine. Back row hit from Gonzalez. Woolley able to handle that one. The set that time comes from Kayla Bear, a 5'10 sophomore setter out of Wesley Chapel, Florida. So we're seeing a full-blown move. She's in there for the senior, Lainey Dale. We are seeing an all-out youth movement right now from Coach Waddington. And again, I think he's challenging his team. He's giving these young players a chance to see what they can do against East Central. I think supreme confidence that his team can come back, especially with a set in his pocket. But right now, East Central feeling it. That's Nahinu with the big block there. 12-6, the Tigers with a second set lead. This Angelo State cheering contingent that has traveled very well up here, suddenly very quiet. Kabbalah serves that one into the net. Torres rotates on. Woolley comes out. And Maddie Parrish, the freshman, will serve now for Angelo State. Trailing by 5. Strickland the tip, nobody home. Saw Kinnison tried to get to it. She didn't even get close. And Strickland will serve now for the Tigers up 6. She can roll a couple more points. This is going to become serious, I think, for East Central. That pass into the net, and nothing Kabbalah could do to bring it back in play. So another side out to the Bells. And like I said, East Central probably content to keep walking this up towards 25. They've got the 5 point lead. At the same time, stalemates are always dangerous because it's that much easier for momentum to shift. Sanchez misses the serve, though. Waddington shakes his head as she comes to the bench. And East Central going to continue to march it to 25. Torres the tip. Kept alive and now punched back to the East Central side. Strickland there. Kabbalah just sends it over the free ball. Quick set in the middle. And a big block from Gonzalez and Miller. Off the smash from Hannah Spencer. 15-8, the libero Roshek, the freshman, steps back to serve right now. And East Central it's all East Central right now. Kinnison tips it across. Roshek the dig. They set it back to Aaron. And a big block from Hannah Spencer. Torres there as well. Kinnison will rotate off for Kirkpatrick. The setter comes in for her. Lamphere comes in. And Bear to the bench, the 5'10 sophomore with half a rotation there. We see Coach Waddington is down talking to Lainey Dale. I don't know if we're going to see Lainey come back in on the next rotation or Bear. Didn't hurt him certainly there. Oh, Miller. Now, that's one I would challenge. I sure thought that caught the line. But they say it's out. Danielle Essex not been as quick to use the challenges as the other coaches here this weekend. Oh, there's a quick hitter from Miller. Enax can't keep it in play. Sarah Heine in for Aaron. And East Central's lead is 16-10. Now only 9 points away from a set victory here. Sarah Heine sends it across. Enax struggles, but keeps it in play. Free ball from Lamphere. Kabala going to set it up to Gonzalez, who tips it down in front of the defenders. Torres and Spencer unable to do anything with that. We've not seen Angelo State this out of rhythm this weekend. That said, they've made some personnel changes here in this set. Credit Waddington. He's going to ride it out and see if these girls can find the rhythm. There's a big hit from Torres. First real sign of life from Evelyn Torres, and as so often happens, here she's going to rotate off now and give way for Woolley to come in and serve and play the outside along the back row for Torres. 17-11. Angelo State needs to roll some points or they're going to drop a set. Gonzalez really feeling confident here this morning. Odalise with a big smash there. Enak's able to dig it out, but a free ball back over to East Central. They're unable to do anything with it, though, as Miller misfires on the roll play. And Jaden Woolley, the 5'6 junior out of Amarillo, went to Amarillo High School. She'll serve it again. Sarah Heine handles back row. Quick set to Miller. Enax digs it out. They're going to set it up for a drive from Parrish. And she eats up the block of Miller and Kabala. Look out. Angelo State back within 7. And Danielle Essex uses her time out there. She's had 2 opportunities for challenges that she did not take here today. And that's one of the things of note. Danielle does not have an assistant coach. Waddington has a couple. The decisions like whether or not to challenge plays are, I don't know if they're made easier, but they're made better by having at least one extra set of eyes, maybe 2 on the floor to help see, especially that last one I thought she should have challenged was on the end line on the other end of the floor. And it's the sort of thing where you do just need some help. You need another set of eyes to tell you that's one we should have challenged. And we haven't seen Danielle use those as much as some of the other coaches here this weekend. She's done a fine job, though. This East Central team, another one. The 2 winless teams in the tournament, East Central and Southwestern Oklahoma State, are 2 Oklahoma teams, have both gotten consistently better over the course of the last 2 days. We haven't seen Southwestern Oklahoma State yet. We'll see them in the next game against Fort Lewis. But they got dumped in 3 sets by CSU Pueblo yesterday, and then forced Texas A&M to take them to 5 sets last night. I think Fort Lewis is going to have their hands full with them. And not surprising too much that Angelo State struggling with Odalise Gonzalez and the East Central Tigers here. Good time out by Essex stops the bleeding. Gonzalez forces the side out, and she'll get a serve for East Central. They lead at 18-13. And now we've seen it again. Here is a delay in a play stoppage right after a timeout. The gamesmanship of volleyball. You pick up on so many of these things when you watch, 11 games in 2 days that you maybe don't see if you're just watching a volleyball match or 2 every week. You pack them all in together and you start to pick up the finer points of the game. Who's that came on? That's Spencer, who came off the floor. Sanchez back in the middle. Enax will serve for Angelo State. Strickland, boy, she got a chance to make a run at it full extension. Boy, you saw the eye contact between her and Kabala. Kabala set her up perfectly, and Strickland knew it. Sitting on the defensive side, about all you can do is get out of the way of that one. The Tigers' lead is back to 5. They force a big side out there. And I believe that's Mia Little, the 5'5 freshman out of Alita, Texas, in to serve now. As the Tigers try to close out set number 2, make this a 1-1 match. Nahinu, boy, I tell you what, great work by Angelo State to even have a chance at that. First, Woolley pops it in the air. Then Enax gets just enough of it to make it interesting. The Bells couldn't get it over the net, though, and East Central's lead is back up to 6. Little sends another one over. Kirkpatrick, the setup to Parrish. Blasts that cross court. paints the near sideline. Side out to the Bells. And now Dale is back in rotation with Kinnison. And Laney will serve, the senior out of Brock, Texas. Transferred back to Texas from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Laney Dale sets it up. There's the quick tip from Kabbalah. Enax does not get to it, a whistle, and that one makes its way to the floor. 21-15. Now the lead for East Central. It's just what I said. At about 10-4, I said East Central would be pretty content to walk it up a point at a time to 25, trading side outs, and that's exactly the way this set has gone. Kinnison with a blast there. Angelo State made one little run to get to within 3, but a timeout from Essex, and East Central rallied, stretched the lead back out to 5 or 6. Sits at 5 right now after the side out. The freshman Maddie Parrish going to serve and try and roll some points for Angelo State. Roshek plays it back row. Strickland, that was going to be out. No, they said there was a tip at the net. Parrish had no choice but to try and make the play on it. And so, again, it's just trading side outs. Back now to Strickland. A point at a time. The Tigers keep climbing closer to grabbing a set in this one from the undefeated Angelo State Bells. Kabbalah up front. Gonzalez has been feeling it. Goes cross court and just misses it. Had that set been up high enough that Odalise could get up and hit down on the ball, I don't think anybody was there to stop her from Angelo State, but she had to go with a flat-footed soft hit down the length of the net, and it just carried a bit too far. Sanchez to serve now, down 5. Nice dig from Roshek into the middle. Nahinu, you aren't going to stop that. Dale got down on the ball and made a nice play, but Nahinu smoked it. She'll rotate out now and give way to Ashley Miller. Dale sets it up for Torres. The block is there. Enax keeps it alive. Kabbalah, quick set in the middle to Miller. And East Central now has forced a set point. We have several opportunities to tie this at a set apiece. Angelo State does not look worried by any means. Be interesting to see who they bring out for the third set after he made some personnel changes for this one. And then stuck with him through the set. There's Torres, is going to extend the set a little bit with that one. Kinnison and Dale will rotate out. Kirkpatrick and Lamphere back in. So the setters and outside hitters are back in normal rotation. Kate Boldrick, however, has been out of rotation. She's given way to Hannah Spencer as the middle blocker on the Angelo State team. Not sure. I thought Boldrick in the last couple of matches has actually been more visible. So I think just giving the young Spencer a chance in this one. And Gonzalez closes out the set for the East Central Tigers, who, boy, they stole one from Fort Lewis last night, stole one from Angelo State this morning. I thought the teams that ended up on the wrong end yesterday would show better today. And East Central has certainly backed up that prediction on my part. Stealing a set here, not even stealing it, outright winning and dominating the set against Angelo State. The Bells will try and regroup. We've got the all-important third set coming up in just a couple of minutes. just subbed a little there because he's going to have another, both teams have another game to play today. He's got enough depth that he can do this, and I don't think he's worried about having his starters back out there and winning 2 sets. So he gave his young players a chance and keep his starters fresh for both games today. That was a good set from them, just like they got against us last night. But we'll see. I don't know. I was glad to see them get that because they haven't had a lot of fun here. But I don't know that they can. I don't know they can knock this team off. This is a good volleyball team. And the player that he sat that whole set is playing really well. So I think he was just giving her a rest. Yeah. I thought she played really, really good in the last set. So number 8 is who he sat. Number 8, number 12 even set for a while. Yeah, see, she's back. Both of them are back. It's good to be good, Capri. Set to return to action for a rubber set here. Tied up at 1 set apiece. A lot of people would not have expected that in this game. East Central probably the team that struggled the most yesterday, and Angelo State the most impressive team in this Skyhawk Invitational so far. But that second set was all East Central, the team from Ada, Oklahoma. Gave Angelo State all they could, the 7-0 Bells, all they could handle there. We did see some roster moves in the second set by Coach Chuck Waddington. He's gone back to his original starters. Boldrick is back in there at middle right now. And Dale, you see serving, is the setter. That's the original starting lineup from the first set that Angelo State won comfortably. And you see Sanchez and Kinnison with a big block on the swing from Aaron there. Both of these teams have to play another game today. That's something else, and I really do think Waddington was just giving some of his players a little rest. He's got enough depth. He's got the luxury to do that. Great dig by Dale. Kinnison tries to tap it into an opening, but Kabbalah is there to dig it up, and a swing from Aaron is way too deep. The Bells looking to roll some points early in set number 3 after being surprised a bit in set number 2. Kabbalah going to send over a free ball. Dale, quick set to Sanchez off the block, and good. Nahinu was there to challenge alongside Strickland. One of them got a hand on it, but that was all, and it actually came down in play on the Tigers' end of the court. A 3-0 start to this third set for Dale and the Bells. Strickland, a big hit. Oh, boy. That one about took Torres' head off. Parrish was apparently in the net there. I didn't think there was time for anybody to get in the net. Torres got absolutely blasted. Strickland, when her setter finds her in time, good timing, and gives her a chance to extend, she's one of the scariest hitters here. Sanchez has been so crisp today in the middle for Angelo State. The Bells lead at 4-1. The freshman Parrish back to serve here. Waddington, a lot of trust in this freshman. I do have the jinxie touch today. Every time I say something, I get a little too excited about one of these players. Something happens to humble one of them. I was just getting ready to say how much trust Waddington had in Parrish that he plays her front and back row, and Maddie sends the serve into the net. Here's Roshek. She's a freshman as well. Torres, the senior, soft slams it down the near sideline. Kabbalah was there to dig it out and start the play for East Central. Kinnison with a blast. Comes at Roshek up high, and that's just so hard to know what to do. All you can do is kind of throw your hands up in front of your face and hope you pop it up in play where a teammate can do something with it. That was not the case there. Sanchez serves. Angelo State up 5-2 We're in the third set of a 1-1 match. Torres sends that one over to the other side. She didn't mean to. Dale to Torres. She winds and fires on that one. I think she took that one off Miller's head. Torres, one of the hardest hitters in this tournament field. She has not necessarily had her timing and rhythm yet today, but if that's any sign, she might be picking it up. Oh, and that's an ace from Sanchez. Drops it right in front of Danielle Essex. Well, and Essex going to argue it a little bit. That's one she can certainly challenge, and she's going to reach for the green card. That's one of the things we're figuring out now is they've added the replay challenge voluntarily. The coaches have chosen to add it voluntarily for Division II volleyball this year, and so we're trying it out, and a lot of the coaches still learning how to use their challenges. Essex also at a disadvantage. She doesn't have an assistant coach on the bench to help her keep track of things, see things, and generally discuss something like, should I challenge or not? But she's going to use one here. Last two sets, there was a point at the end of the first set, and then I thought a key moment in the second set where she could have used challenges and didn't. It ended up not mattering in the second set as East Central just dominated that one. You see, they continue to have good energy, although Angelo State has clearly righted their ship. They lead this one 7-2. Now, if Essex is successful with the challenge, the score will shift to 6-3, and her team will be serving. East Central Tigers came into the weekend with a 2-3 record. Losses to West Texas A&M, Davenport, and Adams State, an RMAC team that they lost to a week ago at the West Texas A&M Festival. They did pick up a 5-set win over St. Mary's University of Texas there, and then came back on Tuesday and swept Langston at home. The challenge is unsuccessful, and she was standing right on top of it, but I think she had biased eyes a little bit. That's what you do, right? You see things in favor of your team, because that one looked like it was in, and right in front of the line judge like that. It's going to be hard to overturn those, because that camera's all the way up in the rafters on the other side. It's hard to think you'll get a better angle with the camera than the line judge had. Kinnison sends over a soft one, and now Miller with a big smash out of the middle. Sanchez can't chase it down. Kinnison runs into Enax on the bench. They smile at each other. They're all right. That's a good thing. I mean, she had some speed going into the teammate, but both of them are athletes enough that, yeah, they joke around about it now. They were able to sort of run into each other without hurting each other. 7-3 after the side out. Sarah Heine serves for East Central. Big hit from Kinnison. Miller and Gonzalez unable to seal the net there, and Kinnison, so much power in her swing. I could actually push the blocker's arms back off the net enough for that ball to find room to sneak down between them and the tape. The freshman Kirkpatrick serves now. Angelo State leads it by 5. Gonzalez, nice dig by Enax in the back row. That smash from Torres is blocked. They'll go right back to Evelyn. She hits it off a couple of defenders and out of bounds. Evelyn Torres has found her rhythm apparently. Her last couple of hits have been more of what we grew accustomed to seeing yesterday. Crazy how just a little bit of timing, a little bit of rhythm gets lost between a setter and their hitters, and people who look dominant one day or in one match look completely lost in another. And I'd never say Torres looked completely lost, but she certainly had lost her dominance that we saw from yesterday. Over the course of the first two sets, we didn't see that kind of play from her. She even set out a partial rotation or two in that last set. Whatever happened there, Waddington succeeded in getting her to reset because her timing and rhythm's back, and Evelyn Torres is torching the Tigers from the pin right now. Angelo State with a 9-3 lead here in the third set. We are tied one set apiece. The final day of the Skyhawks Invitational here at Fort Lewis College. Bob Bonner broadcasting for you on the Skyhawks Sports Network. Our producer, Capri Abadessa. Sports Information Director, Angela Roberts, bringing you live stream Division II volleyball action from the Skyhawk Invitational on YouTube. Our platform we're trying for the weekend. Kirkpatrick will serve. Miller, the roll play. Kirkpatrick, no problem, starting the response for Angelo State. And a good timeout for East Central. Angelo State went right back to Torres. You knew they would. She's got the hot hand. Evelyn misfired that time, though. We'll see if it was that easy to knock her back out of rhythm. She scuffled a bit to start the day, but had started to get on a roll. Talking about on a roll, Gonzalez has been much better today than she was a day ago. Oh, boy, Boldrick. The rest did her some good. She did not play in the second set, has been quiet in this one. Of course, she just rotated into front row. The libero Enax plays back row for her, but boy, Boldrick, after sitting out for a set, looked like she had a little extra spring in that last smash. It's a great dig by Emily Pena, Ireland Ferguson back out on the floor for Angelo State. Ferguson with the dig to start that play. But East Central able to come up with the side out. Miller serves now for the Tigers. Nice job by Kirkpatrick just to keep the play alive. Strickland with a smash, so eats up Ferguson. CSU Pueblo assistant coach. I don't know if you could see it on the camera there. She's intently getting ready for the Thunderwolves' next game over there. It'd be my guess, and that ball about caught her right in the melon. Miller, played by Enax. In the middle, they go right back to Boldrick, but that set was a little too low for her, and the Tigers able to stuff Boldrick easily on that one. The Angelo State lead down to 3. Miller serves it again. Kirkpatrick going to serve it up to Parrish. Enax keeps it alive. Parrish just going to have to send it across. Free ball. Strickland winds and fires off of Boldrick's face. And this is a real run by the Tigers here. Angelo State needs a side out. East Central is close to within 2. Strong serving by the junior Ashley Miller. And that one beats Ferguson along the near sideline. Not sure who Ferguson is in for right now. On the back row. Might be Torres. I think it is. Ferguson makes the play there. Back set to Lamphere and another big block from Nahinu. East Central has tied it up. Oh, got it. My partner Rick O'Block wanders in, said he thought I had someone to help me this game. I thought I did too. Had Coach G up here with me the first game though, Rick, so don't feel too bad. I haven't been all alone all day. Yeah. 10-10, East Central took the second set from Angelo State. And now they've roared back after being 5 down to start set number 3 to tie it at 10 apiece. Chuck Waddington's got to call a timeout and settle his team down. The undefeated Bells being challenged here by East Central out of Oklahoma. Skyhawk Invitational preseason tournament. We haven't done this for a while at Fort Lewis, and we've had a lot of fun doing it today. We've got 3 more games coming your way to close out the tournament. Fort Lewis will be in action against Southwestern Oklahoma State in our next contest. Angelo State will have Southwestern Oklahoma State in the final game of the day. And then this East Central team will play CSU Pueblo this afternoon after the Fort Lewis game. That served too strong, and good timeout from Waddington. Broke the rhythm of Ashley Miller at least. Enax will serve now for Angelo State. Rick, did you think you'd show up today and
No.
find the Tigers challenging the Bells like this? One set apiece, tied in the third. Parrish, a big hit, and we're tied again. Nahinu has been a difference maker in the middle for East Central. We didn't see her much. She came in late in that match against Fort Lewis last night and helped steal the set in that game. East Central has just continued to build momentum after that. And now pushing the best team in the tournament. Kirkpatrick, the back set to Lamphere. She'll tip it. Nice play by Nahinu. Strickland, the big smash. And Lamphere into the net. She doesn't argue it. The Tigers have taken the lead, 12-11.
Not to hop in here, but it just goes to show, you know, Fort Lewis struggled a little bit last night with East Central, and look at this.
Yeah, definitely Angelo State, the team on their heels right now. This one started the way you'd expect it to. It's going to be a 2-point lead for East Central. Ferguson can't, and yeah, we're going to see Torres come back in for Ferguson in the back row. Ireland Ferguson, she gave him a nice split in the rotation for Torres yesterday, but unable to really find any timing or rhythm here today. Torres quickly back into the contest. Evelyn digs that one out. Lamphere is smashed, and that time she beats the block. Strickland and Nahinu don't get it sealed off. Dale and Kinnison back in. Angelo State within a point here. Yeah, Angelo State came out roaring and really won the first set with ease. But East Central has made their life difficult ever since. Oh, and there's a big smash from Aaron, but it's a bit too deep. And we're tied at 13. Lainey Dale, the 5'8" senior, transfer from Alabama Birmingham, sends it across. Kabala, the set in the middle to Strickland. We haven't seen Strickland attack from there yet. Boy, was that an impressive throwdown. And the Tigers have taken the lead here in set number 3. Yeah, I kind of thought looking at this, Angelo State, after picking up tough wins yesterday over a couple of good RMAC teams, Sanchez into the block and Nahinu denied. So I kind of thought Angelo State would walk through their two matches today against East Central and Southwestern Oklahoma State. That's not what we're seeing here, Rick. East Central, if Southwestern Oklahoma State takes another step today, Fort Lewis is going to have their hands full in the next match.
Absolutely. You know, we saw Nahinu late in the set yesterday, and she's out there today, and just a little bit of time that I've been there, she's made an impact.
She's the difference maker in this match today, that's for sure. Angelo State has not solved her yet. They did there. Dale with the tip over top of Nahinu. Angelo State now down by 1. Parrish digs that out. Dale sets it back to Kinnison. Just a little too long. No tip at the net. The Tigers by 2 and a side out. Miller checks in. Roshek will serve. (16-14) lead for the underdog Tigers. That one was out. Boldrick rotates back into the front row. Enax will take a short break while Sanchez serves, and then Enax will rotate back in for her. Sanchez sends it across. Roshek on the dig, and Kabala got into the net after she hit that set. Ties it at 16. Sanchez will continue to serve. Yeah, Angelo State looked like they're going to walk with this thing in the first set. He made some roster changes in the second set, and after East Central closed out the first set in pretty strong fashion, fought off several set points in the first set, and then came back and dominated the second set. This has been more of a back and forth affair here in set number 3. Sarah Heine On the serve now for the Tigers. They lead it by a point. You see Enax back in on the back row for Angelo State. They serve it away from her. Torres playing with some confidence right now. Boldrick, a big tip. The Tigers have to scramble a little bit. Now they set up Gonzalez for the cross-court smash right in front of the line judge, and she emphatically says that one's in.
That was a really nice place shot by Gonzalez.
Odalise Gonzalez has been much better today. She was a little erratic. You could see the athleticism and power yesterday, but she was a bit erratic, and not the case today. She has been so steady in that outside hitter spot. And her and Nahinu have been a heck of a 1-2 punch for this East Central team. The one player we haven't seen, not since the first set that they lost, is Abercrombie, the team's only senior. She rotated out midway through that first set. We haven't seen her since.
She was lighting it up last night against the Skyhawks.
She was,
for
but
a while.
not feeling it today. And Coach Essex has sat her only senior, and her team's responded.
Well, they certainly look good so far. I mean, just a little bit that I've been here, I have a couple players up here. A couple of Fort Lewis players asking some questions of us, but apologize for being late. But complete shocker here, East Central going up against Angelo State, and they get that call. And Brooke Sarahina with the serve, possibly go up by 3 in the third set, which would put them up 2-1.
Torres with a big hit.
Oh, nice save.
Dale, and now Enax sends it up for Kinnison. Kabbalah sets up Gonzalez. Man, she's been on fire. Enax has to get on her horse to try and keep that alive and can't do it. Rick, Angelo State's got to be sweating it now. 19-16, a 3-point lead. I think the biggest lead of this set for East Central.
Well, right now, just by the appearance, Angelo State is on their heels big time.
Torres with a smash, and that'll score it, get the side out. They needed it. Lamphere and Kirkpatrick going to rotate back in for Dale and Kinnison.
This would be a big upset.
Be huge. Absolutely. It just goes to show volleyball how crazy it can be, the momentum and how much, boy, your player can just get their timing or rhythm off or on just a little bit. Gonzalez, a perfect example of that. She's been nearly flawless in this match, but struggled yesterday with inconsistency. That's a big hit there from her. Kirkpatrick, quick set to Boldrick. Strickland takes it off the chin. Kabbalah tries to slide in, dig it out of the net, and can't. And this is why Angelo State is so good. Their back's up against the wall, Rick. They respond with 2 quick points here and a chance to tie it now. The freshman Kirkpatrick will serve. Allie Kirkpatrick, 5'11", freshman setter out of Bonham, Texas. Strickland receives, and now it's going to be East Central who struggles.
Yeah, that's a big error there by East Central.
They just never got going. Essex talks to her setter, Kabbalah, I think just trying to settle her down a little bit. Tied at 19-18. I got ahead of myself with the points there. Kabbalah to Miller. Miller just has to tap it across. Free ball. Here comes Torres. Full swing. That's good.
Well, I mean, Torres is, she's their big hitter, right? They have Strickland. But
I'm right. Angelo State with a 1-point lead and a timeout.
You were right. Should have been an accountant.
Dang it, man. I hate using up my one time this early in the day. I guess technically it is noon, so I didn't waste it on being right in the morning because then your whole afternoon's shot when you do that.
Yeah.
But
you might as well take a nap.
Still using it during the lunch hour. That's going to make it a long afternoon for me. But no, Angelo State, 4 straight points. They went from, oh, no, what are we going to do, to, okay, we're Angelo State. This is what we're going to do. Back, if not in control, at least with a little bit of breathing room. And Evelyn Torres has come on strong here. I think she's a big part of the reason why they've gotten back into this, Rick. We saw her so steady and consistent yesterday. Scuffled just a bit earlier, and then I think when he did some of the roster moves to just get a look at some of these younger players, I think it sort of knocked his team out of rhythm, but I think he was willing to do that. It's the preseason. It's what I talked to G about earlier.
Right.
You take those chances in letting players sort of try and define their roles with your squad for the year. And a credit, good teams recover from that and recover from it before it hurts them. And Angelo State trying to do that right here. Back set to Miller. Kirkpatrick, trouble with it. Nice job by Parrish to track it down. And Enax will send it across. Angelo State lives to fight another point, but
that was
Gonzalez, so
huge
good.
Point. Huge point for East Central just getting back in this, because you're so close to game point that every single point is so important right now, and Gonzalez is going to serve.
And you could tell both teams felt it, how important that point was, right? The bells all over the floor trying to just keep the play alive until they could get the point back. Lamphere, big hit there. Kirkpatrick keeps it alive, and that's going to be a tough one to stay in. And Torres made a heck of a play there, Rick.
Yes.
Strickland sends it across. Enax going to set it up for Torres. She's not going to get a full swing on it. And that wasn't the setter, Enax. It was the libero who set that up for her. Too far back on the net and probably not enough time for Torres to get full extension on it.
Well, she's a big hitter, so she wants to go for the kill shot, and sometimes you got to take a little bit off it to keep it in play.
Gonzalez serves it down the line. Torres has to play it in the middle. Boldrick. Oh. Now, she's one who took the entire last set off. I think he just gave her a chance to catch her breath. She has been unstoppable in this set. Kate Boldrick. Torres into the net with that serve. East Central with the 22-21 lead.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last night. Untimely mistakes and errors, and put that one into the net to give them a 1-point lead and the serve.
Miller up by one, ticks the tape, but it comes across in the middle. Boldrick. And in anticipation, one of the East Central players was in the net even before Boldrick hit that one. And I think that's because Boldrick has been so intense. I think the defense came to her hard. They knew they had something coming. They overcompensated, ran themselves into the net, took themselves out of the play. Kabbalah, there's Nahinu back on the floor. See, Boldrick comes off, and Nahinu comes on in rotation. And I think we've seen East Central making their hay with Nahinu on the floor, and I think Angelo State's been a little better with Boldrick on the floor. We see East Central now with the 1-point lead.
Aaron checks in for East Central.
This is as good as they are up front with Aaron, Strickland, and Nahinu up front. East Central is pretty imposing right now.
Nice deep serve there.
Big hit from Lamphere. East Central tries to keep it alive. Not going to be able to. We're tied at 23.
That was a huge point for Angelo State. Really nice.
And now
job.
we see the rotation again, right? Here comes the senior Dale and their best hitter, Kinnison, on the floor. It's a tie game, I think. Personnel advantage right now with Angelo State.
Yes.
Great serve from Dale. And Strickland, while she's a good player, front row and back row, she's a better front row player.
Yes.
And so, yes, right now it's a advantage to Angelo State, serving a set point here. No timeout from the Tigers. They're just going to try and get it back. Strickland comes up front on the attack. Handled easily. Sanchez dug out by Roshek. They're going to set it back row. Gonzalez. Nice job by Torres. Set it up to the freshman Parrish.
Oh, what a play.
What a dig by Roshek. Strickland keeps it alive. Free ball over from Aaron. Torres. Back set. Kinnison.
There it is.
Wins the set. Right there. Dale to Kinnison.
Yep.
Dale to Kinnison.
Yep.
They are so good. Parrish with a heck of a shot in that rally. The Tigers had an answer for it, but they come back to the other side of the net, set up the senior Kinnison, and she puts it away. Angelo State survives set number 3. They lead it 2-1. We'll be back with the fourth set in a couple of minutes.
That was exciting.
Welcome back to Wayland Gymnasium here. Bob Hoffman Court at Wayland Gymnasium at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. Welcome to the Skyhawks Invitational. Bob Bonner, Rick O'Block with you on the Skyhawks Sports Network, broadcasting this tournament live on YouTube this weekend. Our preferred platform for this week, at least. Kabbalah serves to start set number 4, and
we'll see what kind of damage was done to East Central after that tough loss.
Yeah.
They had a chance to win that set and let a couple things slip away.
Yeah, they were on the verge of sitting here right now threatening what would be the biggest upset of this tournament. But instead, Angelo State survived the threat, at least for now. And it doesn't look like East Central is just going to lay down in set number 4 either, Rick.
Well,
at least not through the first 2 points.
That says something to the character of the team.
I've just grown more and more impressed with them over the course of the weekend, and impressed with Danielle Essex. Unlike all the other coaches here, she has no assistants. She's got no staff helping her out. But we've seen her team get better every match.
Yes. And they gave Fort Lewis a challenge last night and could have easily upset that. So good job to them for improving. And that's why you do these tournaments, right? To one, to see preseason what it's going to be like, and 2, to improve the talent around you and to assess which players you want in your rotation. So they've shown a really good improvement here.
But in the case with East Central, and we've seen other coaches do it this weekend. Nice hustle. Torres leaving it on the line. We've seen all the coaches almost do it this weekend. They've also sent a message to all their players that nobody has a role yet.
Yes.
We've seen the seniors, clearly one of their best players, Jada Abercrombie, has not played since the beginning of the first set in this one. And she's out there supporting her teammates. We've seen one of the stars for Fort Lewis spend some time on the bench. We've seen this Angelo State team mix things up. Number 7 in the net, or 17, Miller in the net there.
Wow.
The advantage goes to Torres and Angelo State. But, yeah, it is kind of fun. That's one of the things I talked to Coach G when she joined me for part of that first match this morning for a set about, how, in other sports you do that, Rick. You sit your starting running back or starting quarterback. Yeah. You've almost got to go to family therapy before you can put them back on the field, right? In volleyball, that's not the case, man. You see star players benched. I don't even know that you use the term benched in volleyball because it's just a different sport, but you see star players sit it out quite a bit and then come back, and the player who's put in for them come up big, and then that star is expected to just come out and get it done when they get their chance again.
The only one I would think that even come close to that is sometimes in basketball, they'll extend, you still start your starters, but you'll extend your bench to try and get some of those other players in early in the season. But certainly nothing like what goes on in volleyball.
Yeah, the way coaches challenge players and then have to support players, and there's a whole lot of trust between these athletes and their coaches is what it comes down to. Boy, look at that hit from Gonzalez. Nice job by Enax to keep the play alive and just send the free ball over. And now Miller's going to tip it.
That's nice
Finds
play.
The court in front of a diving Lanphier. We're tied at 4, Rick, and the East Central Tigers. And again, you always want to win and lose, right? But East Central, it can just take this match and go home with it right now and go, hey, guys, we can play with anybody.
You bet.
You're an inch or two away, a point or two away from upsetting one of the best teams in the country. And you're still have a chance at it here. East Central with the lead.
Strickland and Miller on the block on that, and that was a definite block. That thing wasn't leaking through anywhere.
You get the impression that East Central's a body or two away from being a really good team. You see Gonzalez with a nice serve there, but Strickland, they play her front and back row, and she's clearly one of the better front row players at the tournament.
Yes.
She's a good back row player, but you got that feeling if they had another defensive specialist or two that they could put in rotation, they'd just be that much of a better team, right?
No, I totally agree with that.
Parrish too strong on that one. The Tigers
Even if they
continue to prowl.
If they can win this set,
force a fifth.
Woo! Watch out. And in a way, it would sort of be good for Angelo State because they got to feel that pressure. Oh, nice play there.
Nice dig by Gonzalez.
She's legit.
Boy, Sanchez. Well, and so much better than she was yesterday. You could see the athleticism yesterday, but so inconsistent today. She has just been staying. Oh, Strickland.
Look at that.
What a block. Strickland swinging free. That time she wasn't able to. Both teams scrambling for every point. What a great rally we've got here. Kirkpatrick to Parrish. Oh, and the freshman with an absolute cross-court drive.
Great minutes, great points for the freshman to come.
Parrish doesn't come off the floor for him. I mean, he has got a lot of faith in that girl. Front row, back row. She's one of those multifaceted athletes, right in that 5'6" to 5'9" range. The best teams in the tournament all have an outside hitter like that who's just a freak athlete.
Yes.
Parrish for this team. We've seen Mott for Southwestern Oklahoma State. I mean, some of these kids are really Torres. As a matter of fact, Torres with Angelo State, they've got two of the smaller athletic outside hitters who really turn heads.
Yeah, and with power. You know, it's not like they're
Angelo State legitimately has two of everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
that there's no drop-off. Their 1A to 1B is no drop-off. We've seen Mia Little with a little extra time here today on serving, the freshman out of Aledo, Texas. Kinnison. Boy, they're just not afraid of her. They challenge her with the double block. Strickland goes deep with that one. Torres able to track it down. Parrish again. She'll tip it this time. Little sends it back to Strickland and not able to get full extension, but shows her athleticism to keep the point alive.
There you go.
Kinnison into the block is stuffed.
Kabbalah and Gonzalez on the block there.
Nahinu. That was Nahinu up front again, Rick. Number 5. Gonzalez in the back row. And that's it. Gonzalez is staying in rotation on the back row today.
All right.
So, yeah, she's rotating all the way through. Nahinu comes in to play the middle up front for Abercrombie.
Oh.
That one into the net from Little. And it'll bring Miller right back onto the floor. We're going to see Roshek, and now, Gonzalez stays out there. Roshek comes on the floor to play back row. The libero. And the freshman Parrish will serve now for Angelo State. Strickland full extension on that one. And how big a block was that? By number 10, Julia Allman.
Wow.
We haven't seen much of her, but a big block from Allman there. She and Sanchez shut down East Central, but then a quick side out from Parrish pushes the lead back to 3 for the Tigers.
And she had a couple in the net service errors against Fort Lewis also, and that's one of those things as you get older and mature, get a lot more time, you hope to eliminate those. Miss hit
Sanchez, yeah. Nahinu. I mean, we didn't say her name at all yesterday for 2 games. She came in late against Fort Lewis, and she is locked down a spot in the rotation so far today and been a huge difference maker for this East Central team. They have got Angelo State on the ropes again for the 3rd set in a row. Strickland, a little too much on that one. Cross court and out of bounds. Here we see Goldrick rotate back in. And
Kate Moldrick from Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
sophomore.
She's been a menacing player up front today. She sat out the 2nd set. Definitely a difference maker in the 3rd. There she is with a block on Strickland. They're going to send it back to Strickland, who's just got to set a free ball over. Parrish starts the play for Angelo State. Boldrick challenges Gonzalez. She's up to the task. Another free ball. Again, Parrish starts it. Laney Dale to Torres. Off the block and out of bounds. Saran.
Torres hits with such power off of the wing. And normally it's when she's on her left side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's an athlete.
Oh, boy.
Kabbalah set it to the middle. Strickland on the middle attack that time. Nice job by Sanchez to keep it in play. Gonzalez trouble with that one, but the Tigers will keep it alive. Sanchez to Dale. The smash from Boldrick. Again, Nahinu throws up the block in the middle for the Tigers. She has made them a different team than they were yesterday.
I love the smile on her face after she makes that play. That was terrific.
She is a game changer. Talked about those with G earlier.
There you go.
There's a big smash from Alleman that's turned back. And now Torres will go after Roshek and beat her in the deep corner. Score goes 12-10, side out. Normal rotation here. Lamphere and Kirkpatrick in for Dale. Well, and it was actually Kinnison who got a break. Their best hitter, that was Alleman in for Kinnison. I think that's probably just a half a rotation rest. Again, these teams both have to play another game today. Playing their third game in 2 days now. We'll play a fourth. Odalise Gonzalez. Talk about menacing. She threw a follow-up stare down in there.
I was just going to say
that.
Oh, yeah.
That feared me a little bit.
That was
Rick.
like standing over somebody after you tackle them, the way she looked at that.
And this is against an undefeated team. I mean, when the underdog starts feeling it like that, I'm surprised they didn't give it to her again. Torres. Boy, that's a nice off-balance hit. Strickland, no problem. Here's Gonzalez, and
Wow.
Look at her. And all right, stare once and you're okay. Don't keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what, good timeout from Waddington to slow the roll of Odalise Gonzalez, who is absolutely feeding it. And during the timeout now, I think if you're Essex, you tell your team, we're just going to keep giving her the ball.
Yeah. Oh, you got to feed it. And, it's like basketball. If somebody gets on a streak and they start knocking them down, what do? You keep feeding them the ball. She is feeling it right now. So keep giving her the ball and watch her with that stare down.
This is what I love about volleyball is the teams that were great yesterday could be terrible today and vice versa. And we're seeing, not that anybody's terrible right now. East Central was terrible getting off the bus yesterday. In Southwest Oklahoma State was too. We saw them push Texas A&M International to 5 sets last night, a team with only 1 loss on the year. Here's an undefeated team that could get pushed to 5 sets and maybe even lose to this East Central team this morning.
They might.
So quick, momentum can change, and it's so hard to get back sometimes, Rick.
Yeah, and when you get somebody that is clearly feeling it like Gonzalez is right now, everybody else has got to go, whoa, what are we going to do to try and neutralize her a little bit?
Roshek to Enax. Lamphere lets it rip. Strickland, a nice job to keep it in play. Caballo get it up to Gonzalez. Boy, she left that one short. Kirkpatrick, quick set to Boldrick, but Gonzalez there with the block. Another good block at the net, but Roshek needed to be about 3 inches taller to keep that one alive.
Boy, that was a big hit, and a point they sorely needed.
Yeah. Big side out for the Bells. And now Torres is going to stay in to serve back row. Evelyn Torres catches the net. Kabbalah calmly plays it. A back row set from Roshek. That's how much Gonzalez is feeling it.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do when the set comes from behind you like that, to get that much on the ball. Gonzalez is seeing it well. She's feeling it well. And she's a problem that Angelo State has to solve right now.
I mean, they're not having much success. I mean, she is just really on top of the ball, hitting it well.
Nahinu out of the game in rotation right now. I think they need to attack the middle, and they do with Boldrick. Sarah Heine keeps it alive. Now they're going to come outside to Parrish, off the block and out of bounds. And, man, that freshman unfazed by big moments. We've seen Maddie Parrish just plays.
Yes.
That's why she's out there late points. He's still got her serving. He plays a lot of trust in that freshman. Big side out for the Bells. Enax will serve. Her counterpart, Roshek, on the receiving end. Gonzalez wails away again. Torres with a nice dig to start the play. Parrish challenges back row. It's going to be a free ball over from Gonzalez. Kirkpatrick sets it again to the middle. Sanchez with a miss hit out of bounds. Oh, and they do call the touch.
Oh, boy.
We saw Danielle Essex finally use a challenge earlier. She's going to have to use another one here.
And they get 3 challenges for the first 4 sets and then 1 extra challenge.
She looks absolute. I was questioning her. She didn't use a challenge at 24-24 in the first set. Didn't use one at 20-17 in the second set. I thought both are key moments. They ended up losing the first set when she didn't challenge. Ended up winning the second set anyways. But she's looking kind of brilliant now because we're in set 4, and she just used her second one. Had she used those 2 earlier ones, she wouldn't have this one to use right now. So as the coaches figure this out, I think we're all figuring it out too. And it was a good thing she held on to those 2 challenges because she needed it here. I think this is a pivotal point.
Oh, absolutely. And it's sort of like saving your timeouts in the second half, right? So
And a lot of times I get frustrated with coaches. I'm like, you think you're going to take them with you when you die?
Right.
But, in this case, I think Essex made obviously the right call, especially if she wins this challenge. The one challenge she lodged in the third set, she lost. She won a challenge in the game last night. She didn't use any challenges, I don't think, in her first match yesterday. That first match went so quick. That 3-0 loss for them was, like I said, literally trouble getting off the bus yesterday. Wow, are they playing well today? Especially when you consider the first set was tied at 24, and Angelo State ended up winning it.
Really?
And then Angelo State had to come back to win the third set. East Central has been the better team in this match to this point. But it's still anybody's match. East Central
I would say that just based on what I've seen, East Central has a higher level of energy for sure. We'll see what
which that comes off of not finishing until 11 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
Against Fort Lewis, forcing that fourth set, making us all stay up late last night. Then they come out here and throw off the schedule right away this morning.
That's tough, to turn around like that.
Well, and I think this team might have made a further trip than anybody else to get here. East Central Oklahoma, by my math, is further away than anything in Texas or southwestern Oklahoma State. And I know my math hadn't always been good, Rick, but I'm pretty good at that geography stuff.
Yeah, geography stuff.
I can read a map from back before we had GPS and all that good stuff.
Well, this review's taking a while.
Yeah, he's taking a thorough look. I think these are the reviews that are actually the most valid because I think the cameras on the net are pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like it's crooked, though.
Right? Our back line, it does look like it maybe took a hit, huh? Our backline camera, except for nobody's going to fix it. Our backline cameras, I think, are from far away, and I think that's a pretty tough overturn.
Yeah.
But that camera on the net, I think, gives you a pretty good look if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm. We talked about this ad nauseum last night. For those of you
who were ad nauseated by it,
but we applaud. Oh, they're going to give that point. There was no touch. So good on the official there.
I think that was a great challenge. I thought that was the way it went, too.
So, we applaud the replay, not necessarily all of the processes associated with the replay. But it's definitely a step in the right direction, and something that I think Division II has needed for a long, long time.
And let's face it, the Tech is caught up to where Division II schools can afford it.
Yes.
Right? At first, the Tech to do replay was pretty expensive, but we are getting to the point literally right now where all you need is an iPad. Strickland, boy, Torres, I don't know that she had to play that, but
they are.
Oh, nice job by Parrish to get it back in play.
Yeah, that was great play.
Kabbalah going to set up Miller. Challenge. Oh, and they keep it alive. Strickland sends it over.
Sweet play.
Finds a hole.
You give it, you've mentioned it, you give an underdog a little bit of a breathing room, and they can start getting that confidence, and watch out. And that's what's happening right now. Completely.
Yep. Gonzalez to serve. She is staying out there full rotation today, and deservedly so. She is really good. Oh, what a dig from Roshek. Strickland with a big hit.
Oh,
Enax with a huge dig. Parrish, the freshman, tries to answer, and Gonzalez unable to handle that one. Big point for Angelo State, down 5. They really needed that side out.
Yeah, that was Enix all the way.
Okay, so
that dig there.
Really a surprise. Kinnison does not rotate back in. They continue to go with Julia Allman, the 5'10 senior out of San Antonio. Oh, Strickland absolutely punished that. And here, this is even worse news for Angelo State. Nahinu comes back in to anchor the middle at the net. East Central, again, walking it up a point at a time towards 25. This feels a lot like the second set, which they won. That one catches the tape. Strickland goes with the tip that time. Nahinu digs it out of the net. Back to Strickland, full swing.
Oh, boy.
And Dale doesn't handle it.
They are overwhelming Angelo State right now. Completely overwhelming.
And I didn't think we'd see anybody overwhelm Angelo State this weekend.
No.
I thought I was going to have to watch volleyball on TV at the end of the year if I wanted to see someone overwhelm Angelo State. Let's see if Dale can bring him back into it. Sets the freshman Parrish, who delivers again. You know, I don't know if that's the freshman thing where freshmen sometimes, and I say this in a good way, don't know any better, so they just keep playing.
Yeah.
Or if she's one of those gym rat coach's kid types who actually plays like a 22-year-old instead of an 18-year-old.
Well, 18 on that.
That was an 18-year-old.
I think she augured it into the net on the last serve, too.
She did. She's had a couple of missed serves.
So here's a big opportunity up by 6 serving.
And now at 20.
Yeah.
Up by 6, 5 points away from grabbing another set and forcing set 5. Big hit there from Allman. Bigger block from the Tigers. Allman goes back row that time. Kabbalah, no problem with it. They're going to set it up to Saran Aaron. And Saran Aaron.
Even if they go point for point, you know,
they're fine with that.
They're going to win that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at some point, Angelo State is going to have to roll points. Sanchez comes off. Woolley back on to serve. We saw her a little bit in the earlier sets. I don't recall seeing her in set number 3 necessarily. Strickland goes at Dale. Nice job keeping the play alive. It's a back row hit from Parrish. She actually got a little on it. Forced Gonzalez to make a tough play, which gave the block a chance to set up on Strickland. The fact that Gonzalez had to go to the floor there meant that Strickland still got a good hit at it, but Angelo State was able to set their defense fully.
They have to answer on this possession. They have to answer.
Yeah, this is the serving turn that they need to get it done on. Strickland never got that one over the in the net.
Oh my. They were lucky there. They were lucky there.
And I didn't see which fingers he held up, but I think
he said 10.
Sanchez. Well, it was 5 and 2, so it was Sanchez who just rotated off. Yeah, that was big.
Oh my.
Because Strickland, like I said, I don't think she ever got her hit over the net. Torres into the block, and boy, Saran Aaron has been big.
Yeah. Yes.
Alongside Nahinu. And there's not a lot of height in that block, but boy, their communication is really good. Their timing is really good. They're in a good rhythm together. And we haven't seen anybody be able to turn Torres back on that outside attack the way Nahanu and Aaron have here in this game.
And I think this is going to go at 5 sets.
It's looking more and more like it.
Up by 6 serving. And who knows what's going to happen here. But certainly East Central is playing by far the best volleyball that they've played. No, not even close.
Well, this is some of the best volleyball we've seen from anybody in this tournament.
Yes.
And if you'd have told me that East Central would give us this performance today, as much as I knew they had the potential to come back and play better, I didn't know if they had this in them. And I don't think that Angelo State has played that poorly, Rick. I mean, I think at times they've looked poor, but because of the pressure that East Central's put on them.
I mean, quite frankly, they've played well, but they've been on their heels a little bit. Like when Gonzalez goes out there and, Torres goes out there and makes that hit from the far side, near side to the viewers.
Yeah, that's been automatic all weekend. And this team has just not stood for it. There's a big, big shot by Alleman, and they needed that with Kinnison on the bench right now. Alleman rotates out. And right there in line to congratulate her on that kill is Kinnison, the star player that she has replaced here. As Angelo State tries to find a way. Kirkpatrick the serve. Set up for Gonzalez. She just eats Parrish up on that one. Odalise Gonzalez has been flawless in front, that's for sure. She has been good enough to get it done in the back row, but she has been mistake-free in the front. And a difference maker in this one. Roshek, boy, that's a nice serve from the libero. Miller tips it right back over. A chance for Lamphere. The block holds. Kirkpatrick goes the other side. Torres with a tip, and boy, a senior veteran with a nice play there.
Well, every time she goes up to hit the ball, you think she's just going to smash it. And that was a nice little dink over the top of the two defenders.
They had to have a side out to avoid facing set point here, and they get it. Still down by 5, though, and Gonzalez, a tip at the net that time. Gonzalez actually off the mark a little bit for the first time in a while. I don't think because of the tip either.
No, I don't think so.
But the fact that one of the Angelo State players was actually able to get a hand on it finally ended up working against Angelo State that time. Set point for Sarah Heine. Oh, and Parrish sends it too far over the net. Miller with the kill.
Wow.
To finish it off, Rick, we're going to set 5. Nope, Miller was in the net. Too much follow through, Rick. Too convincing on the kill. Let's see how big that is. So Enax will serve on the side out. Down 5. That's one of those things if they come all the way back. Because that was after the play. Like I said, it was Miller's follow through that hurt her.
There it is.
There's a great tip from Gonzalez, who they had to brace for a smash from her. She has just been absolutely lighting them up cross court.
Well, she's got a similar game to Torres, where you just think she's just going to hammer that thing, and that was a nice little touch.
Miller and Dale will meet at the net to talk things over, and in 3 minutes, Rick, we'll be back with set number 5. About ready to return to action here at Wayland Gymnasium at Fort Lewis College. Bob Bonner, Rico Block with you. Live from the Skyhawks Invitational, streaming this weekend on YouTube. Our producer, Capri Abadessa, alongside. Doing a fine job as always. And Rick, we got a fifth set.
We do.
Not a fifth set anybody expected except maybe the East Central Oklahoma fans. Strickland starts off set number 5 the way she played all of sets 3 and 4 with authority at the net, into the block and out of bounds. Quick side out to East Central.
I'm curious to see how Angelo State's going to respond. I'm
curious to see what personnel. They do bring Kinnison back. Parrish, oh, what a hit. She took a little bit off of that one.
Yeah.
And went for accuracy. I really do want to know the story. I'd bet you straight up $20 right now that one of her parents is a coach. I mean, just watching her play as a freshman, I mean, she makes such good decisions. Gonzalez with a rip.
Wow.
Ferguson out there on the floor, and Torres. We haven't seen Torres and Ferguson on the floor at the same time for Angelo State. So that's the interesting wrinkle we get here. Torres, what's she going to do with this one? She got blocked. Who is it?
Tripped over her player.
Nahinu and Saran Aaron. Now, that's a name I know I've messed up a couple of times. Boy, has she got a lot of energy, though. On the other side of the world, she's from Turkey. You got to be your own cheering section when you go to play volleyball on the other side of the globe, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a big hit from Kinnison. We saw Kinnison was visibly shaken on the bench. Not used to seeing. She came into this hitting at a 485 efficiency clip. That's incredible. And I think continued to hit that way. Struggled apparently somewhere in that third set. Coach Waddington set her in the fourth set. Puts her back out for the fifth, and she makes a big play there. We're tied at 2. And now Woolley will serve for the Bells. Set up to Gonzalez, who hits out of the middle. We haven't seen that very often. And now Torres. And Torres takes a little bit off of that to hit off the side of the block instead of challenging the block with brute force. We've seen that in this fifth set now from Torres and Parrish both. Makes me wonder if Coach Chuck Waddington didn't tell his team, all right, let's quit with the powerhouse stuff a little bit and let's make sure we get our stuff where we want it.
Well, she elected not to go across court, but down the line.
Boy, that's a big hit from Kinnison. Nice job by Roshek to keep it alive. Dale's going to set up Torres. She sets it too far into the net, and Torres elects to go with the deep tip. I don't know if there's really anything else she could do with that. Unable to execute the play and get it in bounds, though. And you can see the assistant coach telling her, even though if you're going deep, you still got to get on top of the ball with that, I think is what he was telling her. And, of course, Torres is a good enough player. She already knew that, and she politely nodded at him. Yep, my bad, Coach. 3-2, or 3-3, excuse me. Side out to the Tigers. They're going to try and regain the advantage. That set's too close to the net. Dale struggling a little. That one's pretty good for Torres. Hits it into the block, though.
Wow.
And actually, it doesn't get into the block. I think Torres hit it into the tape. It never got over. Ended up being out on Angelo State. So East Central with the lead. It
would be great if we could access replay. Oh.
Yeah, if we could get a look at it.
Yeah, because the action sometimes is so fast that it's hard to see if it went off a blocker or if it just hit tape.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, announcing volleyball is tough. But just for my newspaper experience, Rick, and shooting pictures of sports over the year, the hardest sport to get good pictures of is volleyball.
Oh, wow.
Especially that defense. It's so hard to, the action's so fast in shifts. So, you know, about the time when you're like, okay, I'm going to set up to get a picture of that outside hitter, all of a sudden the team goes and hits inside 3 plays in a row. It's just, it's your camera cannot adjust focus quickly enough to shoot volleyball. It's a terribly tough sport to photograph. So fast, so erratic in the action. And so exciting as we've seen this weekend. Lamphere with the absolute hammer. And that's why I said Gonzalez has been unstoppable up front. She's been good in back, but that's one where, where I said East Central lacks one or two back row players, I think, and they would be absolutely dangerous.
Yeah, they've got big hitters between Strickland and
Well, they just
Gonzalez.
And we've seen Sarah Hina's out there now. We've seen Little play more. We've seen her give McCamus a try, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And Roshek, they've got 4 back row players on the whole roster, and you just get a feeling if they had a couple of more, there'd be trouble for everybody.
Wow.
Strickland is just, and she's easy to set right now for Kabbalah. No quick sets. Don't give me anything like that. Get it up in the air and let me get full extension, and we'll dare somebody on the other side to stop me. And so far, Angelo State hadn't been able to do it. Tied at 6, Miller on the serve. Nice job by Kirkpatrick to get it back to Enax, but it's a free play, and Strickland again, full extension. That time she tips it. Good play by Parrish to keep it alive. Lamphere goes down the line, and it's off the block of either Gonzalez or Strickland. Point, Angelo State. Callie Enax to serve now for she might be the top libero in the tournament, Enax. I think the Texas A&M International libero is pretty good, and I like ours, Sarah Wilkie, as well.
Nice hit.
Nahinu with a blast.
Yeah, you just don't see. I don't remember her taking a shot, quite frankly.
No, she did. She didn't play until the final set or two last night, and then strictly played the role of middle blocker.
Right.
Today they've utilized her as a middle hitter, and boy, she's been good. Kabbalah, Kirkpatrick to Parrish. I like her.
Boy, these guys,
I really, really like
these
that
guys
freshman.
Are just slugging it out here in the 5th set. Switch sides after 8 points.
The 8-point switch comes at 8-7, which means that we still don't know who's going to win this one, Rick.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Fun match.
I don't know that anybody had East Central in 5 today.
No.
I can tell you I didn't. This is what makes this sport so fun, though. You look, Chuck Waddington having a good time. I've really liked his demeanor over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, 16 years.
I wasn't sure about Danielle Essex yesterday, but I'm a fan today. What she's doing all on her own with this team is, I can just sort of picture that dinner last night after they, that they ate at 11 o'clock at night after forcing the 4th set from Fort Lewis, and what she must have said to encourage her players and build them up to make them play like this today. Or maybe she tore them down. I have to go ask her if I get a chance. Parrish denied by the block. Dale taps it back. Kinnison able to save it over to the other side. No, 4 hits. I wondered if I think Waddington's going to challenge this. Why not? He hasn't used the challenge, and he's now got 4. Yep. So this is one, if they win the challenge, it'll be a replay.
Yeah.
Because they stopped the play. So
A mulligan we were calling.
Yes.
Well, this will be interesting. What a competitive game, though. I mean, each set has been.
Well, we talked before the 5th set, Rick, and both of us agreed. This makes us nervous for the Fort Lewis game coming up next, because we saw Southwestern Oklahoma State start just awful yesterday, and then end up going 5 sets against Texas A&M International, a team that's now 7-1 and on their way home with a 3-1 record from this tournament. One of those wins was a 5-setter over Southwestern Oklahoma State last night, and the Skyhawks have them to deal with today.
Yeah.
Next, as a matter of fact. Now, fortunately for Fort Lewis, that'll be their only game today. I think some of the lineup changes we saw for Angelo State are because they've got another game to play. And I think he did try to rest some players, and that might have hurt them, particularly in the 2nd set, Rick, is when he really sort of tinkered with his lineup, and East Central really controlled that set. Angelo State able to fight back and win set number 3, but then lose set 4, and now up against it. And I think it's maybe because one of two things. Waddington taking advantage of a preseason tournament to try some different combinations, but part of me thinks he had to be thinking, I'm going to keep some people fresh. 4 games in 2 days. We play again in just a couple hours. Fort Lewis won't have that to think about. Southwestern Oklahoma State will. So advantage Fort Lewis in that respect, but I think that match is going to be anyone's, just like this has proven to be.
We're going to do a replay at that point.
Yep. The challenge stands, or the play does not stand, as the challenge is successful. Strickland. I mean, now that's the no doubt. I mean, there's nothing fancy. Kabbalah is giving her a standard set every time, and Strickland is just absolutely overpowering the other side of the net.
Well, she came down on that ball so far that it didn't even make it out of the front part of the court.
Well, and I think I was talking earlier in the match, Angelo State's middles, Kinnison with a big hit there. The block's going to come back out of bounds. Advantage to Angelo State. The middles for Angelo State are better attackers than the middles for most of the other team in the tournament, but maybe not as good of blockers. And so we're seeing that Strickland right now. I don't know that Angelo State has got a middle that they can throw across from her and stop her right now. She just got so much power. And we see there that it finally catches up with Angel Nahinu, who has been hitting very well, but probably more of a defensive blocker.
She had the play, though. They went to the middle, and she was there. She just couldn't convert.
Ireland Ferguson serving. Gonzalez with a great find down the net. Beats Enax. Near side along the sideline. Big side out for East Central. That would have put Angelo State up by 3. And I think if you're the Tigers, you just started sweating. Roshak, a chance to tie it. Dales, back set to Kinnison, and that's the trade-off. Much like Gonzalez, Strickland, really good up front, pretty good in back, but it gives you a target in back, and Kinnison, a veteran player, knew exactly who to go after with that hit.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you identified before the point who is the weakest area or potential area, and Strickland in the back is definitely not as much of a threat as she is in the front.
Well, she's absolutely dominant up front. Yeah. She's kind of normal in back, right? And it's just like any other sport. You exploit matchups. Sure. I mean, that's a job of coaches and players in every sport, whether it's basketball, football. If you're the quarterback and you see you've got that wide receiver matchup against a shorter defensive back, one-on-one or whatever, you exploit that matchup. And, after you watch 10 volleyball games over a couple of days, you start picking up and seeing the players doing that because, heck, we're familiar with them too, right? So at first we don't know why they're attacking the back row because we don't know who the strong or the weak players are. But over time, the players identify it, and we're able to as well. It just makes it even more fun to watch the game.
Absolutely. And you're right. The more games that we see, we can go, okay, well, that player isn't as strong in this position as she is in this position.
Well, it's funner to watch a chess match when you actually know how the pieces move. Right. And I think that's what we've got going. Both of us have become experts in volleyball over the course of the last couple of days, at least compared to where our expertise was before this tournament started.
Certainly for me, that is the case. Center hit there.
Here's that small back row lineup in there for Angelo State again, and paying dividends, up by 3 now. They've got Ferguson, the setter Dale, and Woolley in the back row. Woolley serving right now.
And 3 points to close it out.
Gonzalez, they go right back to Odalise, into the block and in. And Essex is going to challenge that one.
That's going to be a tough challenge.
I think she's right, though. I thought it was out. It might have been on the outside of the line. She can certainly – that's a tough – she can't challenge. The cameras are set for challenges on the end line. We don't have cameras.
They're going to try it, but I just don't know how they're going to see that.
That's going to have to – let's see. They're going to look at that camera on the far side.
Oof.
And unfortunately, I don't think they're going to see anything because Gonzalez was between the camera and the ball. And if you use the camera from our side, I think the stanchion was between the camera and the ball. I think this is one that there's going to be no look. I think Essex is right. I think the line judge may have missed the call there. It was close. But unfortunately, this is where the limitations of technology are going to become pretty obvious. I just don't think you're seeing the official shaking his head as he's looking at the tape. He can't even see the ball. Camera placement is tough anyways. They're not set up to read down the sidelines as it is. And I think we had a player shielding the view on one and the stanchion shielding the view on the other.
So just like in tennis, when the ball hits the line, it's
in. Yep. If it hits any part of the line, it's in.
There's no differentiation between inside the line. That was a tough call.
There was no way the cameras could pick up enough to overturn that. So now Angelo State up by 4. Saw Waddington kind of wipe his brow there to one of their fans during the timeout. He's showing them, man, this one's been tougher than I thought. And Angelo State's got to play again later. Dale. Going to go to Torres, who's too strong there. No indication. Angelo State wants to say it's a tip. All the Angelo State players simultaneously. And this one, the camera will be able to back up the challenge. I think Waddington's just going to trust his players and go with what they're telling him right now.
I didn't see a player touch it.
I didn't either. But they were so sure.
Like in football, the ball will wobble, or basketball, it'll change directions. I didn't see anything there that looked like.
I didn't either. But they'll get an accurate challenge out of this one because that camera is placed pretty well. This will bring us to match point. If they win the challenge, it'll bring us to match point. If not, it'll be a big side out to East Central. I haven't paid enough attention to the rotation. I don't know who's going to be serving for them. You know, I like Abercrombie. The one senior for the Tigers is not in. Hasn't played since midway through the first set.
Yeah.
But she's not sitting in the end of the bench pouting. We talked about this. Volleyball players have a different mentality. She is up and involved in the game and the action and having a good time with her teammates, enjoying this as much as anybody else.
I like that culture.
I love it. And it's a culture that's unique to this sport, I think. I don't know any other sport where players are that accepting of their roles, their lack of a role, the confusion about their role. But we've seen really, really good volleyball players sit on the bench all weekend.
Yes.
For various reasons, and
for extended periods.
You know that's got to be tough on some of these girls. I mean, some of these girls, they come to college never having sat a point in their lives, going back to third grade, right? But they do know how to take it, and that's impressive. It speaks pretty well to the character of these athletes and to the relationships the coaches build with them. I mean, that takes time.
I think that's the big thing is what kind of relationship do they have with the coach, and do they trust the coach to make the right decision, and are they going to be in when they need to be in or when they feel they need to be in, and that's a tough bridge to cross.
Well, and I think for a young woman, you're never going to have that acceptance and trust unless you feel like that coach isn't just doing things for the right reasons, but you got to feel like that coach cares about you.
You bet.
As a person.
You bet.
If you think that you're just cannon fodder and another piece of meat to throw out on the floor, I don't think you accept these kind of mind games or whatever you want to call it that coaches have to play with players. So it all starts with relationship building, and obviously Danielle Essex was all alone on a bus or a plane with these girls for a long time this weekend, and you can just see they're very at ease with each other out there.
I saw a lot of buses lined up in the park.
Yeah, I don't know that too many people flew in.
Heck, I can't even fly in.
No.
I mean, the last time I tried to fly into Durango, it got delayed by 4 hours.
Yeah, Stephanie had trouble with that. Now, don't talk like that. I'm supposed to fly out to D.C. in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really? D.C., huh?
Yeah, they're bringing me out of retirement.
Nice.
Lobbyist Bob is going back to work
Nice.
for a week. No, I don't know. That's a
DC.
different life. That's a different Bob, too, Rick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't like that, Bob.
Well, I don't know that I'm unlikable, but it's different. That's for sure. So,
well, good luck with what
Yeah,
you're
thanks.
lobbying for, because
try and
no
save the
touch.
newspaper industry.
yeah,
That's big
that's
for
gonna be tough.
yeah, that is a tough job right now.
Well, that's good. They overturned the call.
Yeah, I love it.
They
I
got
want
the
this
right
match to go on.
Sure.
I want someone to win it by 2, 18-16, 20-18. I think East Central certainly deserves it. I want to see them push this thing past 15 points at least. I feel Sarah Heine serves that one up. Torres, a nice job in the back. The tip from Boldrick. Going to be able to put a play together. Gonzalez down the line. Nice job by Dale. She just had really good position on that one. Torres, boy, this is a clean point. Nice rally from the two teams. Free ball coming over now. Enax, it's not the setter, so it's a little in on the net. Kinnison didn't get much on it. Sarah Heine with the miss hit, though, and it's going to be match point.
Well, it messed her up because it was in a weird position, right? It sort of handcuffed her.
Well, Kinnison took a little off of it.
Yep.
Took a little off of it, elevated the ball instead of that smash to the floor. Sarah Heine, I think, was getting ready to dive and dig, and instead it came in on her up high.
Definitely handcuffed her, and it came up almost up by her elbows. And but, boy, you cannot take anything away from the way that East Central played this match.
No, right before that serve, I was about to say, I almost feel a sense of gratitude to them. One, you want to see everybody. The two Oklahoma teams that traveled so far.
Yeah.
I was talking this morning. You want to see them enjoy the experience, win or lose, right? And win or losing, you can accept. Not showing up, not performing well is a little tougher pill to swallow.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the way they started this tournament. I feel good. I've enjoyed watching them today. You can tell they feel good again. I almost feel gratitude towards East Central. You almost start to root. Well, you always start to root for the underdog, right? And but it's been fun to watch them put this product on the floor and make this Bells team sweat. Kirkpatrick will try and close out the match here. The freshman setter serves it up. Kabbalah, they go to Gonzalez, and that set was just back off the net a little too far, and Odalise was unable to get the power on it that she had delivered through the first 4 sets. A heck of a match there.
Well, you got to hand it to Angelo State. They didn't crumble when they were the clear favorites here and pulled it out.
Yeah.
But, boy, East Central, great job. Both teams, great match.
Yeah, like I said, both a debt of gratitude. An entertaining match. Our second 5-setter of the tournament. Our first 5-setter came from this team right here. Southwestern Oklahoma State University took Texas A&M International to 5 last night. This East Central team that just lost in 5 took Fort Lewis to 4 last night. Gets here till 11 p.m. Rick and I are back today, and we'll be back in 30 minutes to bring you the next match. Fort Lewis College Skyhawks and the Southwestern Oklahoma State Bulldogs coming your way in just a few minutes.